Hey guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. It's another breaking news kind of day. We got some extra footage of some cool things from Discovery today.
They're teasing, guys. They're teasing. We love it.
Yes, and I'm super impressed. The first thing we're going to look at, I just summed it up. The first thing we're going to look at is the Communicator, which we got a little bit of a teaser for and some screen grabs of. And wow, here's the first thing. It's an antenna grid.
Well, first of all, let's just say this is how you do promotional material. You release little things. Really, this iconic pieces of history, like the Communicator and the phaser, you release them a little bit at a time to get buzz. So we'll jump through these pictures first. Yeah, antenna grid, obviously very TOS. Second picture, more interestingly, and then third picture, the full thing. Mm-hmm. There it is, the Discovery Cage-ish era Communicator. Stuart, what do you think?
I absolutely. It's a classic redesign for me of the TOS Communicator, not the Cage era, but that's fine. It's got the look of a TOS. It's got the little round moire thingy,
yeah,
but it's actually useful this time.
Yes, I was about to say the word useful.
It's got an actual display there, which is fantastic, and then a little display or something underneath. And the classic 3 buttons. So it's a very simple redesign of the TOS, and it makes it modernized. It makes it look good.
And so what we're saying is the moire effect is actually the screensaver everyone has.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think
or when they're in a call, it does the frequency thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For me, I do see this as Cage era in the sense that it's the shape of the Cage era. It's taking the cues from those more, rectangle-ish things. Yeah. The grilling is much more Cage than TOS, I feel. Also the way it connects. But TOS look and feel, but, cagey.
Yeah.
It's an in-between. It's either it's like a super advanced Cage, a prequel TOS, or a TOS Enterprise in-between, which I think is the closest equivalent is a sequel TOS Enterprise. But the thing is, this is what I said, how many months ago, Stuart? I said, take the original shape, update the internals, that's absolutely fine, because you've kept what made it a Communicator, but you've made it modernized. It looks like a flip phone with displays inside, but with a color scheme and the right scale of Star Trek. So I'm thoroughly happy with this.
Yeah, I am too. The antenna grid for me is much more like the Star Trek 2 Communicator, the big silver one. It's got the same shape, the little arrow thing with the...
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that visual tie-in, but it's kind of like, where'd it come from?
Yeah.
So it's got a lot going on, but I think as an overall redesign for kind of like a pre-TOS Communicator, I like it overall. It works. It doesn't look anything like the Cage, but the Cage we know looked awful. It's kind of like clear plastic with the resistors in it, and it was huge. So we couldn't really go back to that aesthetic for this.
It's a flip phone TOS Communicator.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That is fine. And as we discussed in our Communicator episode, our Technology episode, I always liked the TOS one, but I think it needed a little bit more functionality. And this, with these screens the way they have them, you get that. I mean, you can probably do like text messaging kind of things on this as well. So you kind of be more stealthy and not necessarily.
And you've got data on the top, call incoming, voice ID on the second. You press a button, it's like, hey, hello. Well, I'm sure they're touch screens as well. All the bottom one's like a mouse pad to control it. For the top thing. I mean, infinite functionality. Mm-hmm. And it looks good as well. It does. Now I will just jump in though, because obviously we've seen a proto and post TOS, another designer with the Kelvin. The Kelvin did have a custom Communicator, and if you remember what it looks like, Stuart, or if you want to find a picture, I'll vamp for a second. The style was closer to TOS. The internals were ugly, first of all, and it didn't feel functional at all. And personally, it's them trying to make it look sort of right, but not hitting the nail on the head, even though it's closer than this. It doesn't hit the nail on the head. And then obviously you skip to Kelvin, J.J. Abrams' future, got nothing to communicate. I mean, we don't even want to talk about that. So it's like, that was their attempt. I mean, what do you think of this compared to those? Because that was the last time we saw someone trying to reinvent them.
Yeah, this is definitely a huge improvement over the Kelvin, the Kelvin Communicator,
Yeah.
not just Kelvin Verse, the original Kelvin Communicator. And then, once you get to the new JJ one, it's like, we're not even going to talk about that, as you said, because it's not even similar. But yeah, the Kelvin Verse, I mean, it does hold true to the TOS aesthetic. It looked very good, on screen for the brief second or two we've seen them. But overall, as far as functionality, overall redesign, and scrutiny of it, this new one is the way to go. I think Discovery did a fantastic job on this. So
Yeah, and it's thinner, and like I like I said, I've had a phone like this, a Motorola flip phone. It feels very familiar, and it it's that. I mean, if Gene Roddenberry had seen this, if he had been alive through technology, and he had seen the flip phone, he would have said, that's our designer's phone, that's our designer's thing, and then to have our retro future, because it should be a touch something, but that would be not great. So having the realistic buttons, and if we jump to the second picture, which is the display, cute little display. But what do you think of the graphic, of what it says in it? I mean,
well, it looks like it's got the time.
I know.
So I'm thinking Apple iPhone. Well, this is a new interface that they're going to come out with real very soon. The one thing I did notice is that the Delta on this is actually the official Delta. It's not the split Delta like we saw in Discovery and the Shenzhou. With the split in it.
That's
not
interesting.
represented here. So that's an interesting fact. It does have the swirl, like the Nike Just Do It swirl, but it doesn't have the split down.
Ooh. Now, it is worth saying though that we saw in Enterprise, for example, handheld technology, especially on a flagship or front line where it needs it, small technology can advance quicker than other things. So if the Shenzhou and say Discovery, which we haven't seen the uniforms of necessarily, but the Shenzhou uniforms, if this is older, distinctly older, so it links more to the Enterprise, then that split could be, that's the pre-whatever. And then this Delta is the newer tech. So you would make sure communicators and phasers were given out sooner rather than later. You could replicate them, send them to a ship, boom, you've got the modern tech. That's why it's more TOS than the other technology we see, because that stuff's more advanced. Look at a Miranda class. Well, the internals are going to look old, but they'll still have modern phasers and modern communicators. Yes, the uniforms will be modern as well, but the technology doesn't necessarily equate. So this could be the modern one, and yes, the Delta, again, can both be just Kirk's Enterprise and can be the fleet, depending on how you look at it, and depending if you count JJ as prime, but you shouldn't, but you can, whatever. So it's very intriguing, although maybe this is the Starfleet emblem with a swirl, and the unique Enterprise is without the swirl. I mean, that's a stupid stretch, but maybe Starfleet is a internal a circle with an arrow with a swirl, and the Connie is just a point. Given the Enterprise, given the Enterprise of the past was such an important ship, they gave the Enterprise an important logo.
Yeah. All I see is the Starfleet recruitment poster of this symbol. Starfleet, just do it. Tie in the Nike slogan as well. But no, I really like it, and I know for a fact that screen's going to be able to change. It's not going to stay on that the whole time. Like I said, maybe when they're actually doing a communication with the ship, it's got the Moyet pattern kind of displaying the frequency, the different swirly pattern. There's going to be, hopefully, it could work as a compass as well. I mean, give you directional information. So much usefulness with that screen. I would like a close-up of this thing underneath it, though, whether it is like a touchpad or whether it's a display all on its own. I kind of hope it's a display all on its own. But we didn't really get much of a look at it, unfortunately, yet. I mean, I'm sure we will, but I'm really impressed, but it does look like a watch face. I mean,
but it stays true with the TOS-ish.
Yeah.
No, I mean, back to the full picture, very happy with it. I mean, it's not Cage, but, I think we've said before, the Cage technology is the one you can retcon.
Yeah, kind of have to.
The physical tech, I mean, the uniforms are much closer, but the two handhelds don't fit, really. They're cool, add them in if you can, but they don't look good. They look interesting, but not good, especially the Communicator is pretty, that's like 50s tech, 40s, 30s, 10s. It's cavemen. So yeah, I think that closes out on this. Well done, guys. I think you just, if you've all watched our Discovery the Ship review of the new poster again for San Diego Comic-Con, you saw that actually, when they do something right and they make improvements, boy, we're going to call it out, because we are interested in new Star Trek. We want it to make sense. We have not seen the story yet. This stuff could very well be explained. There could be reasons for proto-Klingons, and then you have primary Klingons as well. There could be reasons for all this stuff we don't know yet, so we shouldn't be jumping to the hate conclusions. And hey, every ship of Enterprise, you might not like how the Warp Delta looks, you might not like how the Emmet looks, or the Conestoga. There are sub-ships in the genre that you might not like, but if they make sense, if whatever. So wait. But in terms of cool art design, this is cool art design. And I'm content for it to be a Star Trek communicator that's roughly TOS-ish.
Great summation.
Now let's talk about the phaser in the next video. Let's go straight into that straight. More to film.
So hopefully guys enjoyed this. If you do, communicate with us below using your communicator, your keyboard, whatever you want, to tell us what you think of this new communicator. What do you like? Do you like the design? Do you not like the design? There's going to be both fronts on this one, so I'm looking forward to seeing the comments, but definitely let us know. And yeah, if you like the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to share it around, because this is going to be all the buzz in the Star Trek community now, talking about this Discovery stuff and the sneak peeks we've got. So hopefully we haven't really given you too much new insight, unfortunately. We're just talking about our opinions on it, and
a lot of you would have seen this stuff yet.
I personally like it. I don't want to speak for Samuel, but I think it's great.
I personally like it too. So until next time, guys, support us on Patreon or donate or Trekyards.com. Click the donate button if you want to support us and help us fund ourselves, make more Discovery content, and bring you the latest pictures, news, updates, all those little things we want to. Your place for Discovery news is here on Trekyards. But I think you guys know that because you keep tuning in every time. So thank you so much. Until next time, guys, this is Commander Cookins
and Captain Foley.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.